Hello everyone. Today in this video, we'll be discussing the basic differences between C, C++, Java, and Python. So, before that, if you wanted to install Python, you need to install Anaconda. I have already discussed the steps for installing Anaconda in the previous video. If you haven't gone through that, please go through that. It will be in the same playlist of Python programming. So, let's go into this topic. So first, it is like Python is different from all these languages in case of syntax and readability. So let's see how the hello world program can be written in all the four languages. Initially, if we see the C++ case, uh, in case of C++, uh, within main, here main is a function where the like execution will start, and to specify that main starting at this point and ending at this point, we are using flower brackets over here. And similarly, inside that, we are writing cout hello world, which will help us to print the hello world. And after writing this line, we are using semicolon to denote that it is the end. And similarly, in C also, we are using some function printf and all the remaining things like flower brackets, and there will be semicolon also. So if we are missing any of these while compiling, these will give us errors. Okay, so you should not miss any of these flower brackets or semicolon and all, because uh, these are part of the syntax of C++ and C. So if you are missing out on any of these, they will raise to syntax errors. And similarly, in Java, it is completely object-oriented programming. So everything you need to write within a class. So inside this hello world class, there is a function main, and inside this main function, we'll be writing the println. So to denote that this is within uh, this main function is within this class, we are using flower brackets. We can see clearly over here. And similarly, here also we are using flower brackets, which tells that this function starts over here and ends over here. And there is a function system.out.println, which will help us to print uh, this hello world on the output terminal or wherever we execute it. And here also we are using semicolon at the end. But when it comes to Python, first of all, there is no need to give any semicolon at the end. That is the first thing. And if we see, like, we are starting with flower brackets and ending with the flower bracket, there is no need for us to give brackets over here. We'll just denote like using colon, and whatever we wanted to write inside if or for or any function, to specify that it is inside this, we need to give some space that is called as indentation. So if we see over here, we have given some space that is indentation. And if you want to write another line within this if, then you have to give the same space. Okay. And then write the code over here in this place. And similarly, all the lines whichever you wanted to write in like within the if, you have to write it over here. Okay. You have to give the same space. If you are not giving same amount of space, then it will rise to indentation errors. Okay. And if you want to come out of if and write something, then can start from the start. Okay. The code can start from here, from this point. Oh, so this is indentation part. And if you miss out on indentation, it will raise to errors. But whereas in C, C++, and Java, you can start it from here itself. Like from this point only, you can start writing this print. And similarly, you can from this point only, you can start writing cout, and from this point only, you can start writing system.out.println. There is no restriction on indentations and all. Uh, so, but why are we writing like this? We are writing for our interpretability, which means like these are more readable when we are giving space over here. So Python is about more readability and how like Python is really very simple. There are several lots of functions in Python, which makes us the language very easy. And let's say one new guy like which he doesn't know any kind of programming, then he sees Python code, he can understand what exactly that is being done. But when he sees C, C++, or Java, it might be little difficult for him. But Python, he can understand more. That is like that good. The code will be in Python, and like you can also skip this line if you wanted to skip. There is no uh, compulsory that we have to write this line. Like in C, C++, or Java, main function should be there compulsorily, but here there is no need for us to give this. The need for using this is that I'll discuss now. What this name variable will store is it will store the name of the module. Okay, it will store the module name. So let's say there is a Python file. All the Python files are saved with the extension .py. And in this Python file, let's say there are several functions like add and subtract. And at the end, we are writing this piece of code that is main, like if name equal to main and print hello world. That is there over here. So what it will do, it will check the name whether it is equal to main or not. Whenever we are directly executing this .py file, then the name will be equal to underscore underscore main underscore underscore because there the module name will be main itself and hello will get printed. In let's say there is some other .py file and you wanted to import this .py file as a module in this Python file, then the name will change in that case. The module will be like will be some other name will be there for that module. In that case, this will not get executed, but you can access this add and subtract functions in within this .py file. How we'll be doing all those we'll be discussing in the future videos. Okay, so that is the basic difference in the syntax and how the readability of the Python code, all that we have discussed now. Now let's move on to the next part. That is, Python is a dynamically typed language, whereas C, C++, and Java are statically typed languages. So, what does dynamically typed and statically typed mean? Statically typed means that we have to specify that it is this specific data type in case of initialization. So here if we see, we are saying that number is an integer data type and then we are assigning it 5. And similarly, name is a string or character array and then we are assigning this approved to this. Similarly, section is a char variable and to that we are assigning this. This is in case of C. Similarly, it happens in C++ and Java also. Now, first we are telling it as integer and then we are assigning it. Similarly, here we are telling that it as string and then we are assigning this. But in case of Python, no need to specifically do like this. It will automatically know in the runtime that this is an integer and this is a string and this is a character. And let's say we have defined num as integer or we told that number is an integer and later stages in below part of the code we are writing like num equal to something like poo. Then here it will give rise to an error. But in case of Python, uh, Initially, if we are given like this, and in future, if we are giving something like num equal to 5, then it will not give us any error because it will directly adjust the data type over there. Okay. And similarly, in case of Python, strings can be written within single quotes or in double quotes also. Uh, these are few differences from C++, Java, and Python. And Python is a dynamically typed language. And when it comes to Python, Python is a interpreted language, whereas C++, and Java are compiler-based languages. So basically, this interpreter, how it will execute, it will be executing line by line. Okay. If there are, let's say this is the code file, there will be several lines. So each line will get executed one by one. And let's say there is some error in this specific line. Then after executing these two, we can adjust this error and then we can move forward. Like no need to check whole file for this specific error. Okay. At this line itself, we'll get to know that there is some error and we can correct it and then we can move forward. And there is no intermediate compilation over here. And we can say the Python language is very portable because whenever, if we have the Python interpreter, we can run it on any OS. Okay. So, but the problem with this is it is little slower when compared to this C++, and Java. Not little, like it is very slow. And but the advantage is that it is flexible, portable, and readable Python language. Okay. And when it comes to C++, and Java, those are all compiler-based languages. So there will be a two-step process. Uh, the code file first initially given to the compiler, and compiler will like, compile whole code. And if there are any errors, uh, like you have to check through the whole code and you have to update the errors or you have to remove all those errors and then again you have to compile. If the compilation is successful, then some executable file will be created and that will be running. Okay. And it will generate us the output. And while doing compilation, some kind of performance optimizations can be done by the compiler. Okay. But the problem with compilation is like this dot executable file, if you are generating it on some OS, it will not work on this dot executable file directly. It will not work on other OS because it might be creating specific to some OS. So we can say that it is not portable. So for that, what we have to do, we have to recompile on every other OS. Okay. And but the advantage over here is it is faster and it is not portable. These are the disadvantages of compiler-based languages. So these are the differences. These are few differences. In the next videos, we'll be discussing about various data types in the Python and all the functions related to those data types. All we'll be discussing in the coming videos. Thank you.